Hey there everybody, and thank you for tuning back into Cal Jordan TV. Now before we move forward, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications for more Marvel and DC related news and reviews. Now today I will be looking at the Marvel Legends 2020 Deluxe Venom figure. This is a Build-A-Figure size figure as it is a repaint of the previous 2018 Venom Wave Build-A-Figure Venom. This Venom figure is based off of Eddie Brock and all his Venom awesomeness. So I'll be opening up this figure, reviewing it, and please stay tuned till the end to find out if I think that you should purchase this figure and why, or if you should not purchase this figure and why. And for more Marvel and DC related news and reviews, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications. So taking a look at Venom right here, we have the basic Marvel Legends window packaging in the front with the We Are Venom logo at the bottom right here. On the side, we have some product art of Venom. And on the back over here, we have another picture of Venom looking really nice. And over here, we have a quick description of Eddie Brock as the Venom. On the side, some more product art. On the top over here, a quick Venom logo, and on the bottom, nothing much more. So without further ado, let's crack this figure open and take a look. Measuring out this Venom figure, he does measure in at about a little bit above 8 inches if you go to the very top of his tendrils, so which is a good size for a Build-A-Figure, but what he does lack in height, he makes up in bulk. He is a super bulky figure with a lot of muscles built into him, so that's really cool that they did that for him as he is supposed to be Build-A-Figure size. So what I will be doing in this video, which is a little bit different than what I've done in the past with the videos, is I'll be giving you 3 things that I really like about this Venom figure, and then I'll be letting you know at the end whether I think that you should buy it or not. The first thing that I really like about this figure, which is not common with too many Marvel Legends these days, is the paint that they did with him. He has a lot of paint shading. Let me bring in the light right here so you can see it. There's a lot of paint shading, so it's a mix of kind of this dark bluish and black mixed in there throughout the entire body, so that is really cool. You never really see paint shading anymore. You saw it with the Dark Phoenix Cyclops 2-pack, but I can't really think of too many Marvel Legends with paint shading off the top of my head, so that's really nice that they did that. A lot of paint shading going on here. Let me bring in the light so you could really see it. So you got a lot of paint. So you see how there's like a blue mixed into the black. It's not just matte black around the whole figure. They actually mixed in different colors in there. And the paint on this part right here, the Venom part, it's done okay. The paint apps aren't great. It's kind of fuzzy right here with the white, and then it kind of bleeds a little bit at the bottom right there. On the back, there are some specks of white that got away. I guess I could take that off with an X-Acto knife. So the paint applications aren't too great, but the paint itself is really nice. The white itself is actually a really nice bright white, so I like that they didn't make it kind of this see-through white that they do sometimes with white figures, so they did a really good job with the paint on this one. The next thing that I really like about this figure is the head sculpt. So if you're looking at the head sculpt right now, there is a lot of detail that they put into it. On the previous figure, they had green coming out on the tongue, but they didn't put that on this figure, but it doesn't really bother me too much. The jaw can go up and down if you want. It's not technically articulated on a joint, but there is some flexibility in there because it is rubber if you want to move it up and down. I'm not sure if you keep doing it a lot over time if it'll break, so I wouldn't mess with it too much, but it can move up and down if you want. The tongue here is all made of rubber, so it's movable, kind of flexible. You can move it around a little bit. And then the head itself, there is a lot of detail on it. There's kind of these sculpted veins in the top, and then of course it has the paint shading of the black and the blue. It's red right here with the gums and the tongue, so it matches the color. And then the teeth is done really nicely. The paint color on the teeth is different than the paint color on the eyes. So I'm glad that they didn't just do white matching the same as the eyes, as the teeth should be a different color than the eyes. So they did a really good job with this head sculpt. So my last like for this figure, the thing that I like actually the most for this figure is the sculpted details. So the sculpted details that they have for this figure are just phenomenal. So he has these kind of wrinkles in the bottom where I don't know if this is considered like, I guess it's like skin. It's like symbiote, so I guess it's part of his skin. But yeah, there's like these wrinkles under here. It's very veiny. There's a lot of sculpted veins into here. There's paint shading. Right here, they have these tendrils that are built in. They're flexible, so they're not stiff. They won't break if it bumps into anything. And it's also movable, so you can move it out of the way for pictures if you want, and it'll go right back into place. So that's really cool that they did that. And these veins are just super nice. Even though the legs are a little small for the body. I do believe that that is how Venom looks. He is supposed to be really upper body heavy. So I think that is pretty comic accurate. When I think of Venom, I think of this monster Venom. I don't really think of the small Venom that we received in the Venom wave. I think of this giant, massive Venom figure, supposed to be bigger than Carnage and Spider-Man, just a giant monster that comes after them. So I really like the little sculpted details that they do with it. The hands also have these sculpted veins into it, and the paint is actually done really nice on the hands. The other hand, paint applications are done really nice on there as well. So the veins go out throughout the whole body, underneath the biceps and on the forearms, on the chest part, the legs, even the feet, and the butt. The butt has a vein on it. There's a vein butt. And on the back right here, there are some veins. Wow, did not know you could even have muscles there. And there's a lot of muscles on this guy. So yeah, the last liked is the sculpted details, because man, this guy has got a lot of them. Before we move into our final comparisons, let's go ahead and show the articulation for this guy. So looking at the side, his head is kind of leaned forward, so you're not going to get too much articulation back, but you actually do get a lot more than I thought you would. You get a lot of articulation actually backwards. You get a lot. Moving down, not too much. So when you move it down, it's not that he looks down, but the whole head kind of shifts down. It's kind of how the ballpoint peg was made. So when you move the head down, the whole head just moves down. The body can crunch forward, and then the body can also crunch backwards, but don't crunch it too back or you're going to break the figure. He is on a waist swivel, so you could rotate a full 360 there. There is an upper thigh cut, so you can rotate a full 360 there. There is no shin cut, but it is at the ankle. I don't know if that's supposed to be the same thing as the shin. It's just his legs are so small, but you can rotate a full 360 right there. There is ankle pivot. His legs can bend backwards. Let's see, is he a butt toucher? Oh, and he's a butt toucher. Venom is a butt toucher, people. He can do a splits right there. He can kick forward, and his arms can move up to about 90 degrees. He can rotate a full 360, and he could bend his biceps in. Let's see here. Yep, he could bend it to 90 degrees, and you can pivot the wrist down and pivot the wrist up. So for our Monster Venom comparison, here is Monster Venom next to another 2020 deluxe figure, the Marvel Legends Red Hulk. And here is Venom next to the Juggernaut from the 2-pack with Colossus. Here is Venom next to Daredevil. And here is Venom next to the Warlock Wave Jim Lee Cyclops. I don't know if Venom ever interacted with the X-Men, but if they did, that's probably cool. And if they haven't, they should do that. So my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends 2020 Monster Venom. Once again, I really like the paint that they did for this guy. I think that it was really awesome, the paint applications and the paint shading that they did on him. We don't really get that too much with Marvel Legends. I love the head sculpt on him, a lot of details with the head, and I love the sculpted details in the body with the veins and the tendrils that they attached to him. A couple things I wasn't really too much of a fan of was the paint applications were kind of sloppy on the actual Venom chest piece and then on the back a little bit. I didn't like how it splits right here. So when you get the figure, he comes with the back piece off, and when you connect them, no matter how much you push, there's kind of a small gap right there. So I'm not a huge fan of that. But overall, I think that this is a really good figure in my opinion. And between buying or passing on this figure, I think it should be a buy. So yeah, I do think that you should buy this figure. The reasons being, it has a lot of details. It is such a massive figure, and if you didn't get the Build-A-Figure, this is definitely your chance to pick one up. And right now on Amazon, as of this video, it is pretty cheap. I think it's out for retail. If you don't purchase this figure, it's going to be because of the following reasons. It's going to be because you already own the previous Build-A-Figure, you don't like this version with Eddie Brock, you like the other version of Venom, or you just don't like this figure in general. But whatever you choose, you heard my opinion. I do think that you should pick it up. And once again, thank you for tuning in to Cal Jordan TV. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications for more Marvel and DC related news and reviews.